Hello and welcome to the Example Podcast, where we bring you conversations with mature, modern, masculine men in an attempt to share their knowledge, wisdom and experience for you to learn from. Come as you are, take what you need, and remember, you are the captain of your ship. This week I sat down with Dylan Martinez, and this is an incredible story about surrender and saying yes to life. From Ames, Iowa to California to Bolivia to play professional soccer, back to America to start his own carpentry and decking company, to coaching back in California, and then eventually owning a nature reserve on the edge of the Amboro forest in Bolivia, as well as serving his community by being a police officer. This is an incredible story about what happens when you put yourself in a position to say yes. And his biggest adventure has just begun as he became a dad less than a month ago. Enjoy this one, guys. He's a phenomenal man, and we're very lucky to be able to share this conversation with you. Dylan Martinez. Hello, mate. You can swig a coffee before we start.
Hey, Maddie. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to need it.
Yeah, all right.
Need it.
What's your middle name, mate?
What's that?
What's your middle name?
Taylor.
Taylor, yeah?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. My guess it was a combination of Bob Dylan and James Taylor. That's where those came from, yeah.
How come?
My dad was into music.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bob Dylan and James Taylor.
Yeah.
I know Bob Dylan. Who is James Taylor?
Yeah, he's done, he's done a ton. I'm sure you'd recognize.
Yeah, would I, if the song came on? I probably would.
Yeah.
I probably would, mate.
Yeah.
All right, we'll jump in where we jump in every
let's
episode, mate. What does it mean to you to be a great man?
Yeah, great question. I think this is probably one we could probably spend the whole podcast just talking through the details of that. I think initially I always think back to, like, I don't know if you ever read like The Republic with Plato and Socrates, and they're kind of discussing, I think, more or less this kind of same thing. What is good? What does it mean to be a good man? And yeah, I think, just starting from the beginning, even just from that philosophical standpoint, it's like, okay, where are we? What, how did we get here? What is true? And so I kind of default to that. It's like, okay, yeah, I believe that, okay, we're all, we all came from the same place, wherever, you believe that is. Mm-hmm. So, someone that's on that track, that pursuit of what is truth, who am I, what is this place we're in? So I think that requires being a student of life and yourself and others, being aware of your surroundings, everything you can learn from inside yourself, from outside yourself, from inside of others, from outside of others. I think is kind of a starting place, seeking truth and being aware. And I can always default to, as a footballer, as an avid footballer, I think player has heard the term, like, soccer is like a microcosm to life. Mm-hmm. So I think back to like, what's it mean to be a good teammate? And yeah, that one, it's like, okay, well, you're doing everything you can to be the best player you can be. And then you're also looking out for your teammates and trying to be, see where you can encourage, how you can help, how you can build up your teammates, trying to weed out anything negative, that's distracting you and distracting your teammates. If there's a lot of times a soccer roster can be full and there can be a cancer that's trying to, poison the group. So weeding that out real quick. But yeah, I think for wherever you come from or whatever you believe, I think it's being plugged in to something. I think one of the I have so many, like, quotes that I like from different books, people, authors, and a lot of them come from the Bible as well, where I found a lot of answers. And there's a verse that Jesus says, it's, he's the vine, we are the branches, unless we're a part of his vine, unless we're plugged into his vine, we can't produce good fruit. And I think that kind of tells me more you can't fake it. You can't just go out and do good deeds and like, oh, he's a good man. Look how much he's giving, supporting, or how much service he does. It's like those are good things, but that's not the definition. That doesn't define whether he's a good man, good person. It comes from comes from inside. That encourages you to do these things, and it also taps you into something bigger than yourself.
Yeah,
that's. It's not just, okay, I'm going to try my best to, and those are good, but really trying to tap into, okay, what is this all about for me and for others? So anyone on the pursuit of that, anyone, who's trying to pay attention and improve.
Yeah. A couple of words that come through all that to me, I really liked awareness, and then awareness of what's true right now. So if things aren't going well, I'm not ducking my head in the sand. I'm looking at it in the face and realizing that I have to take personal responsibility here to get better. And that was your soccer analogy. I need to be the best player, and then the reason is for the team. And then the energy behind why am I doing this, and that's got to be connected to something greater than you, however that is for different people.
And then purpose, like, so for anyone to work that hard, for themselves and for others. Some people just do it. Some people just grit their teeth and, they like the way it makes them feel or the satisfaction of it all. But I think what, can just take it to an untouchable level is if you have genuine purpose. So it's like, why is it so important that we win?
Right, if it's the game.
Yeah, why is it so important that we, are conference champions, or that we, contend at nationals, or potentially win it all? Why does that matter? And it's really important, I think, that part of it too, for in each individual to understand that piece, because it can be different, for people, what they want to get out of it and why. But yeah.
That's awesome. The other thing I loved is that you said it's a pursuit. It's not like, oh, you've made it, you're a great man now, you've made it. It's going to be a continual pursuit, and different stages of your life are going to require different parts of you to go and look at them, find the awareness, and then see what needs to be done. And you're probably going to need help from others, and hopefully they help others along the way.
Definitely.
So, mate, where did you learn all that? What was early life like for you? Who were your male role models growing up, and where did you grow up?
I was born, my dad was in grad school in Lincoln, Nebraska. Then just a couple years there, and then we moved out to California. He was at UCLA for a little while.
Was he teaching?
Yeah, he got his doctorate at Nebraska, so then he started working. It was actually, I think, at Biola University when we moved back, so I think he did UCLA undergrad.
Okay.
So he was working, as a psychologist, probably counseling and teaching.
Nice.
And so I was there just till kindergarten, and then he got a job at Iowa State. So mostly I remember growing up in Ames. So since I was, I think, 6 in 1988 when we moved to Ames. So, but even before then, I do remember in California it was I was an active kid. I just liked to engage and play, measure stuff, and any kind of a ball, wanted to figure it out and play, and then I enjoyed others. I enjoyed the natural competition that comes from others. So I loved sports. I took to sports early, but also just would play around the house, go outside and just do what I could. Was lucky. I had officially the best dad in the world. He was good family man, loved us, good dad, good husband, always tried his hardest. Wasn't perfect, obviously, but he had his purpose and passion with work. He was very passionate about his counseling, and he was a student of psychology, and really found joy in helping others. So he showed me, I could default to him. I saw him every day, how to deal through my emotions, how to work through my emotions, because I had a lot of them as a kid. I was real competitive and stubborn, and it was nice to see that, not just hear it. Like, oh, you need to, be
Yeah.
Patient. You need to, work on this. But I saw that, in him and how he dealt with, his life and his emotions. So yeah, I was lucky to have that. But then, growing up in Ames was also lucky. I had tons of very athletic, competitive, highly talented athletes and friends, that I went to school with and competed with, and
so your peer group as well. So not only are you getting the big picture of
Yeah.
like, hey, this is how to be a man in the world and
Yeah.
manage your emotions.
Yeah.
You've also got a great group of friends that are pushing you on for at that time the thing that was your purpose.
Yes, and I really liked these guys. So I wanted to be their friend, and B, I wanted to be as good as them at stuff, if not better. And I was a little bit small. I was blessed with a healthy amount of athletic ability, but I was small. And then my big brother, he was very good at everything he did as well.
Yeah.
Not quite as ambitious as I was, but he was very good at everything he did. So, and beating me was easy for him when, I was 2 years younger. So, I was always, getting beat, and coming in second and slower.
Yeah.
And behind. So, I think we even talked about it when we were coaching together, this book called The Talent Code, where a really awesome book, and there's just so many different pieces. It's a journalist who wrote it, and he studied where did the grades come from and how are they made. So he kind of goes on this pursuit and goes to whatever. I think he went to Brazil at the time for soccer and
Russia for tennis,
Puerto
Rico or something for
tennis. Yeah, all that stuff. And so he found you need a bunch of things. You need to be born with some kind of natural rage to master or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you also need to be born into a culture where they idolize whatever it is that you're doing. And then you need like great instruction and all that. So anyway, but a part of that book, by no means am I saying I had any of that stuff.
In Ames,
the part of that book,
it's a hotbed of soccer players.
Yeah, Ames Olympia. You don't know. But the part in that book that I resonated with was, the fastest men in the world for the past 10, 15, 20, whatever years have always been like the youngest child. Because they just have grown up they're too slow, they're behind. So their first step, their quick, their energy, their desire to like be faster and like break free of their own limits was just there from the young age.
Right.
So like I got that, like, because I was always, even when I was little, I was almost just as fast, if not faster, than a lot of my older, bigger, stronger friends. Just because I cared so much and I tried so hard.
Yeah.
So I was very fast. And then when I did develop, then I found myself in a pretty
good spot.
Yeah.
Have you, so seeing that and learning that from young, maybe at the time you probably didn't know that you were learning that about being second all the time.
I had no idea.
Is that something that you've carried over into your adult pursuits? And we'll talk about college because I think your journey is like, it's wild. So to do it in a sequential order is good. But has there been moments where you're like, okay, I'm going to stand next to this guy because he's the front runner. He's the older brother that's going to keep me in check.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Definitely. So reflecting back on that, and seeing how that went, and mainly like when you're young, you're in high school, everybody, is wanting to compete and try, and you're looking right and left, and like you see so many different people and athletes, and you're like, oh man, they're so good. But if you stay the course, you keep working as hard as you can. You get older next year, then the year after, then you keep looking right and left. You don't see as many people, and then they keep dying off for one reason or another.
Yeah,
life, this, that. They don't. It's too much work. It's too hard. They choose something else, whatever. And that gives you some confidence too. It's like, oh, those guys aren't around anymore. I'm still here.
Yeah.
So I think that lesson of, whatever it is, if you're into it, you love it, you're passionate about it, work as hard as you can, and time is your best friend. Like, the next 2 years, look around, you'll see improvement in yourself and your your peers are dissipating, because life can do that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a lesson. But yes, trying to find those guys, those front runners that, okay, I want to run with them, even if I can't. I'm going to try. And then soon enough, they go away, and then, you don't see as many people in front of you.
Find the next guy in the next area.
Yep.
And maybe it depends what area you're looking for, right? There's always maybe someone a couple of steps ahead that you can go and grab on the coattails of.
Yep. And that's wisdom right there, is finding, okay, in whatever field, finding the guy to emulate. That's very important. Yeah.
You went from Ames, then, and you've got Iowa State right there, right? I bet 90% of your classmates all went to Iowa State
and Iowa,
right? And then
because that was an hour and a half away from mom and dad, but still close.
Okay.
Those two.
And you went all the way to California, correct?
Yeah.
How did that come about, and what was the value in that then, now going, the whole way across the country, but for people in Europe, it's halfway across the continent.
Yeah. No, it worked out great. Fortunately, Iowa State wasn't on the table for men's soccer. It's a real travesty in this country. That Title IX, in theory, is great, but it's in practicality, it's it took away soccer in the Midwest for Iowa. Took away soccer for men in the Midwest, and baseball, I think, because Iowa State had these sports, but they took baseball away, and so it's a real bummer. I started looking at schools, and so my dad's family's out in California, so that was a place I kind of started looking, and I put some dream schools on the list, on the search, and ended up finding a Biola University. It was an NAIA school, but great soccer team, great soccer conference. Went and did a visit there. Really liked the coach, loved the coach, and then some of the guys on the team really liked that as well. And I also had a cousin who also played soccer and was looking, and he really liked that school.
Okay.
And ended up kind of choosing that one, and absolutely loved it.
Did you go with your cousin in the end?
Yeah.
So you two went out there. So you had like almost a little built-in buddy to go with. You were both freshmen at the same time?
Yep.
Nice.
And I had some aunts and uncles out there, so it was great getting away. New life, not a new life, but different. Like, it was a chance to, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
So I really value that time to where, it just kind of, allows you to grow up pretty quick. And I loved it. I remember right from first day checking into the dorm, I was like, yes, let's go.
This is the one.
This is awesome. And I had a great college experience. I loved all of that. New freedom and independence. And I learned a lot. I remember just wishing I had more hours in the day, because I loved all of the effort and time. I put a lot of time and effort into soccer, as much as I could. And then I did the same for school. Like I put a lot of effort into school. And then I loved the social part of it, the social life. And I just wish I had more hours in the day for all of those things. Like, I wish I could have studied more. Like, I enjoyed some of my classes. It's like, man, I know I could do better. I just don't have time. I just don't have time. And you have to kind of like prioritize, at that age, and be okay with that. It's like, if I did do that, then I have to sacrifice over here. So you prioritize. But no, it was nice to be able to do that, and have that space, where I was also close to family.
It's still close enough. There's a little bit of a parachute there. I think like college is coming under a lot of smoke recently about the cost of it, and there's more college grads that are like unemployed right now than ever before. And when I think about college, and I think I sort of felt this going in anyway, because I studied physical education, teaching and coaching. Not the hardest degree in the world. Like, one of the classes was like dancing. I was like, this is great. I'm waltzing at college. But when I think about it, like, did my degree make me a better teacher? Probably not. But did growing up in 4 years and like figuring stuff out on my own make me a better person? Like, it's just a perfect little environment where like, and once you do that, once like something goes wrong and you like figure it out, and you didn't call your mom or dad, or they weren't there to help you out, it's like, okay, I'm actually like I can kind of get my own head back above
Yeah.
water. I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's where, I'm not saying that can't happen when you're not in college. It's just like the perfect little breeding ground for it for me.
So I agree completely. The actual degree that I got hasn't done anything for me
Right.
practically.
Mhm.
I enjoyed what I studied, but it hasn't done anything for me practically. I guess it is a little bit of money at my job, but the experience that I got, and since soccer was my pursuit, I wasn't Yamal. I wasn't these guys at 19 and ready to play at the top level.
Yeah.
So if I wanted, and in the United States, it's college has been kind of the track. At least certainly was back then.
Yeah.
Like that's the track. It's not get picked up by a pro team,
A club at 8 and then you
get
stay.
developed. That's not how it works here. So that was the track, and I needed it because I still needed to get better and develop and all of that. So for that experience, and then just that time to play and study and learn without having to jump into I need to go get a job.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge for me. Like I don't know if had I not done that, I don't know where I would have started.
Yeah,
trying to,
100%.
build
I was
a
the
living.
same leaving England. Like I didn't really want to go to university because I'd kind of done school at 18, and then the soccer thing came up, and I was like, I can play and then do the school thing. I was like, yeah, this is it. Like extend that out a little bit where it's serious.
Yeah.
Like you're with a group to what we spoke about earlier, guys that are a little bit more ahead of you. You come in and you're 18, and you've got guys that in NAI like 28. Like coming 30 years old in your team.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is a cool environment where everyone in this changing room right now, I always say, would like kick their sister in the shin to win this game.
Yeah.
Like it's all, the why is there, it's plugged in. So it's this first little, it's hard to find that magical environment again as you get older, I think.
Yeah.
So it's very special. I'm very grateful for that. So you already made one mega jump out there, a little bit of a safety net, some of your family's there and stuff like that. And then after college, is it Peru?
So that's where I played my first game. It was Bolivia.
It was Bolivia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go, mate. How did that opportunity to continue playing come about?
Yeah.
What country was it?
Yeah.
Like, what made you go, I'm going to do it?
Yeah. Man, it was fortunate the way it unfolded. So I was ready to go, and that was always the desire, like when I was done with college, was to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a really great college career, and I was also able to play for a semi-professional PDL, the USL2 league now here, the Southern California Seahorses. And yeah,
Scary name.
It was, and it was so fun being a quality team with that kind of a name. It was just awesome.
They're laughing at you on the way in and they get beat 4-0.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that group, out of any team I've ever been on, is hands down the best, most fun, most pure, it was the best team I'd ever played on.
Yeah.
So it was, we had guys from UCLA, UC Irvine, a lot of the conference schools where I played, so Azusa Pacific, Westmont. We just had a really good little NAIA conference, but then we also had these local D1s.
The big ones, yeah.
That chipped in as well. And it was it's a Christian ministry team, so it was a Christian team, so we would look to pray with guys after the game, or we would go do camps for kids all summer long.
Mm-hmm.
We do camps. We'd usually take a trip somewhere and compete against local semi-pro teams, and then kind of share, what we're all about, what we believe, and why we play, and who we are. And I was able to travel with them to Japan. We went down to Okinawa. We went down to Mexico several times.
Yeah.
So soccer, you can go anywhere, and we're bonded now after 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we have a similar life. I understand, but even though you know nothing about that person or culture, so immediately it gives you that respect, to where we would then, after the game, say, hey, you guys want to come to dinner with us? And usually it's courtesy, and they're like, yeah, all right, sure, let's do it. And the curiosity thing, who is this team? Why are they coming from the United States? Why do they want to have dinner with us?
Yeah.
But then we, just start talking about, their life, who they are, and what we believe, and, share that part. So that part was awesome because they were these fierce warrior athletes that were gentle, and were soft and loving and kind and caring. So made a lot of really, really good friends from that squad, and also kind of found, okay, that's the whole package, like, kind of what I'm looking for, like, being as competitive as I can be at soccer, but also, trying to be a good person and have purpose behind it all.
Through your
so
faith.
I found that there, I can't say enough about, my experiences there, and the buddies that I made, and, still some of my best buds. So it was through that club that this team out of La Paz FC, their president, Mauricio Gonzalez, he was the money man, right? So he owned the club, right? And so he wanted to branch out and make relationships, and so he found my team, and then they're like, hey, they needed a 9, they needed a striker. It's like I was captain by my third year, and again, I've just been one that's worked hard, worked up. So my first year playing, I was good. Second year, I was better. Third year, I was better. And I kept getting better. And so I was, the guy that was like, okay, well, we have one. He's just graduating. And they're like, hey, Dylan, do you want to go play soccer in Bolivia? I was like, I don't know where that is, but yeah. I have no further questions. The answer is yes. So
sign me up.
I didn't know much about anything that was going on. They offered me a contract and, said they'd fly me out. And I was like, when do you want me there? I'm ready. So it turned out to be La Paz, Bolivia, which is 14,000, feet high. It's just a crazy elevation. I had no idea. So I was fit as could be, getting ready to go down there. And then it was a wild experience. So come to know, and this is stuff I didn't find out on the front end because I didn't have an agent. I didn't really have help. I didn't really have any of that stuff. I was just like, yeah, sure. Come to find out, the owner, Mauricio Gonzalez, didn't really consult and or get along with the coach very well, and the coach, wasn't involved in this process, wasn't happy with the way things were going at the club, and found out that's kind of typical, in South American, soccer. It was Premier League in Bolivia, right? Premier League, but just that dynamic wasn't healthy between the coach and ownership at the time, and then also just that elevation, like it felt like I was in pain, like I hadn't prepared, and that was always my thing. Like, I'm prepared, I'm fitter than you.
Right.
I know I am because I put in the work, but I wasn't. Like I didn't have that piece. So like the first day, like I got off the plane and I wasn't feeling great, and then they took me right to practice, and they were playing, and they just kind of wanted to show me off a little bit. So they're like, all right, get in there, show me what you can do. And I was like, can I stretch first, or are you good? So I, start playing. I actually did really well. Scored a couple of goals, but I couldn't believe how hard it was and how much pain I was in. And then eventually that broke me down, and I couldn't. And it took about 90 days to acclimate.
Yeah.
It took a long time. But it was, just a wild start, a whirlwind. Come to find out, the coach really didn't warm to me ever for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Which was too bad. But so it was Cienciano in Cusco, Peru. That was my debut, where I played in. It was an awesome stadium and amazing location. And it was the coolest little cobblestone, whatever it was, a 14-hour bus ride from La Paz through the mountains to Cusco, and just, stopping along the way to see all of these different alpaca stands and little shops, and just cool adventure. But it was tough, man. Like, I didn't know Spanish. The coach knew English, but again, wasn't a big advocate or help for me. And found some guys that I could hang out with. But didn't didn't really feel like, okay, this is a place I can stay
Didn't
for
really gel. Yeah.
a long term. So it ended up just being the one season. And I probably would have stuck it out and kept playing, but yeah, the coach was, he kind of made it pretty clear. He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna play you. And I'm like,
yeah,
what kind of a coach says that?
So then, from there, mate, when you came back to America, was it like, okay, football's done now and it's time to get a job or start a business? Like, what happened next after that? Because you knew that it was up, right? Okay, doesn't make sense for me to stay where I'm not wanted.
Yeah.
Then what happened? Did you go back to California? Did you go back to Iowa?
Yeah.
And then what was your mindset coming back? Because obviously at some point everyone's got to hang their boots up full time.
Yeah.
Luckily yours was extended a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, so it was a quick process. I wanted to keep playing. That was the plan. And I thought, coming from a Premier League in Bolivia, that I might be able to leverage that.
Got a little something on my CV here.
Yeah. Problem was, again, I didn't really have any help. I sent personal emails to these coaches at random or whatever.
Right.
And it's just like, so amazingly, like, I mostly just got ignored. But so Minnesota Thunder, they must have been going through an email, been bored, whatever, but like they ended up responding to me much later after I sent the email, and maybe like a week or two before like their training was going to start. And it was Amos McGee at the time, I think, for Minnesota, and sent, hey, can you make spring training, next week? And I was like, yes, I can. I was like, I can. So it's the same thing. And I was prepared. Like, I stayed prepared because I wanted this, and I hoped for it, and I backed it up, but I didn't really expect much. So, but I was like, yeah, let's go. So I went to their training camp for 2 weeks, and did really well. Like, it was, so in Bolivia, it was technical, hard, aggressive, but it wasn't quite as athletic. So, and that's what I was kind of used to. So, but even more so, okay, this is the next level from college. Like, okay, these are all like, their best players in college. Like,
right. When you got to Minnesota.
Yeah. And they were big, a little bigger than down in Bolivia, but so like it was a challenge, and I feel like I did well. But at the end of the 2 weeks, the coach is like, "Thanks for coming out, man. Like, you're a great player. We have a guy coming in from Africa still, and we don't think we're gonna have room for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, I get it. Thanks, no problem.
Yeah.
See you later. So looking back, and that's kind of when I transitioned. When I was driving home from Minnesota, I was like, okay, if I had stayed, I wouldn't have been making much money. I would have been in Minnesota. Didn't really have. I'd been away from my immediate family for 5 years by then. And now that was hard. Like, I have a great family. So it was during that drive back, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I love soccer. I had a great run. But I think it was self-awareness too. It's like, I'm not the next best thing. Like, I did know, like, if there was a coach that gave me a chance, like that coach, for example, if he said, I like what I see. Do you want to play here? I can't pay you much. I'd have been like, yeah. Yeah. And then I know it in 2, 3, 4 years, like, I would have been a force. I would have
getting better again because you're around the people that
I had been through that. I had trained through that. I was used to being behind and then working through, improving, and then noticing that even on my own teams, like, I was working harder than other people.
Yeah.
So I know I would have been a force. Like, I would never have been like, oh my, this is the superstar. Never. No. But I could have been a solid role
contributor. Yeah.
But so looking back, it's like that was a moment I could have like given advice to my younger self and said, hey, go back and tell that coach, like, hey, you want to move here anyway, you're going to find a job. Can I train? Can I play? Can I, whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
you would have.
I realized that, you don't need me, but if I can have a training spot, and earn my way, I'd love to train with you guys for
I'll whatever. Get a job and then just come play train for free.
And that would he might have said, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not, but Okay, interesting.
So anyway, that would be one thing. But again, to be fair, like it would have been years, and it would have been making, doing a couple different jobs, and
Yeah.
who knows where I would end up, stay in Minnesota, or maybe like bounce around. So I think I was ready to be, done bouncing like that. And so anyway, at the time, it just felt right on the drive home. I was like,
Yeah.
I know I got really excited about it by the time I got home. I was like, I'm free.
Yeah.
I can, what do I want to do next?
Yeah.
Whatever I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of the transition that happened pretty quick from coming back from Bolivia, getting a trial, and then kind of calling it good after that
Yeah.
one.
Interesting. Was there, so by the in that drive home, you were like, okay, I'm ready to put it down, because you're never going to get a chance to play at that level again, right? Like you play pickup here, and you'll be on some good little teams, and maybe going to tournaments, but it's never going to be the same.
Yep.
Was there any like mourning that guy and then on to the next one, or were you just like, no, I am happy with the run and I'm going?
No, it was just that. Didn't look back.
Yeah, didn't look back. Fair enough, mate.
Again, where I'm at now, looking back, I know that all too clearly now. Didn't much probably process it then.
Yeah.
It was like that. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the moment. Like if you have any desire, you need to keep working and get a hold of somebody that can help you. But I didn't process all that, and it's not really a regret that I have either. It was just like I could have, and it would have been interesting, if I would have found maybe I would have found a home on a pro team, and again not been the guy, but been like a valued teammate because of my whatever, my attitude, work ethic, all that stuff.
And fair play to the guys that do that. I've seen them from college and they bounce around. They're doing indoor in the winter, and they're on the next like USL 1 team for a little bit, and they bounce around and. They're staying in, apartments with 2 other guys and stuff like that. Fair play. But for you, it was like, right, I'm ready to take the next step.
Yeah.
So then, did you immediately go into, like, starting your own business? Did you know that you wanted to work for yourself? Because your degree, you didn't really utilize your degree, right?
Right.
So then, what was that next? Like, here's what I want to do. I'm going to go do it, or?
No, I've realized, especially just kind of in talking with my wife, that I never really thought about it, like, if you're a type A, type B person, like a planner or not. Because I was always like, I'm pretty laid back, I kind of, I'm open, I see what's what. But I also realized, my room's pretty clean. The dishes are always done. Like, I'm pretty organized in that sense. But I wasn't really like a life planner, like, okay, this is where I want to be. I want to own my own business. I want to, check this box. I want to do that. I just, did kind of what I enjoyed, at the time, and what I liked, what was a good fit. So at that point, it's like, okay, where can I make some money? Where, what can I do? What kind of lifestyle I could have with that job? And I realized it wasn't like a corporate 9-to-5, salary. Like that wasn't necessarily what I needed at that time, that stability. So I got a job kind of as an independent contractor, working for a guy that I used to do siding. One of my first jobs was just exterior siding.
As like a kid, a teenager? Yeah.
Yeah, in high school. So I started doing that for him again with some old buddies that, I grew up with, and loved it. We could work whatever hours we want. He had plenty of work lined up, so especially in the summers when there's daylight from 6 to 9.
Yeah.
He's like, work as much as you want, and we're like, okay,
we're gonna do that.
Yeah. So it was fun, and then hanging out with those guys, we'd go. I never really got into a much of a social, going out, like even in college. Like I was about my business. I wasn't going to bars. I wasn't going out.
Yeah.
But when I came back, it was like, okay, working hard with these guys, we'd go out to have some bars, and I was loving life a little bit, and I was just enjoying my time, and but working hard, without really, necessarily a plan yet. I wasn't in a rush. So then, kind of from there, developed into doing more construction, and then eventually, starting my own kind of carpentry business. Again, just the freedom and flexibility for the lifestyle that, because I still liked, I took adventures, I would travel to California a lot. I would go back overseas, and I like to do little road trips or getaways, and I was always trying to plan that stuff, and even whether it's tailgating with friends or just just trying to enjoy life. Because again, I was used to just this regiment, the structure, the training.
When you was at college.
Yeah, when I was at college,
yeah.
And after, like, it was regimented. It was, I couldn't have a bowling league, every week and see all that stuff. So, I kind of enjoyed that part of the business, but of the business I started. But
a lot of people at that age, mate. So, like, how old are you now? You're back from college, you've done the year in Bolivia, like 24, 25, coming back. Like, now it feels like there's a lot of pressure on people to, like, what's your retirement plan? Do you have your career worked out? And, like, are you making six figures yet? Like, how long is it going to take you to get to $1 million? Yeah. Whereas it sounds like you were just like, okay, here's what I like doing. There's an opportunity here. Yeah. I'm going to go in and do it. And then once you were doing that, the next step sort of showed itself, and the next step sort of showed itself. How did you ever feel that pull to, like, oh, I need to be doing more right now, or I'm not doing enough? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that. Yeah,
that moment probably hit me. So I was able to, with my business, pay off my school debt, because I had some. Mm-hmm. So once I paid off my school debt, I kind of like reassessed and was like, man, what do I want to do now?
How old were you now, mate? School debt's gone.
Then?
Yeah, when the school debt was gone, how old were you?
Yeah, it was probably about, let's see, maybe about 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not quite. And so that's when I kind of took opportunity. I went back down to Bolivia. So I had made some friends, while I was down there. Mm-hmm. And then while I was, this is kind of another piece that's just cool opportunity that fell in my lap. So when I was back in Ames working, doing business, a buddy from church, his name's Dustin Brooks, he wanted to start a water well, a clean water business. Mm-hmm. So it's called Clean Water Movement. So he wanted to raise money to fund water wells, just very generally, just help. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, do you want to help me with this, be the vice president? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we kind of doing fundraisers and started sending money to coincidentally a business down, or an organization down in Bolivia, called Agua Yaku, and they built water wells. So we started funding them, and then we took a trip down there to see a well get built, one of the wells that we funded, and met this guy Warren, who worked for this organization, and we became friends. Yeah. He was about my age, and he actually had moved his family down there and was doing a variety of things, and we just became friends, and kept in touch, and went back down there a couple of times to do some motorcycle adventures all over the country. In Bolivia is a beautiful country. Yeah. Beautiful country.
I know you took me there,
as you've seen. So I actually decided, and his wife was on the board of this orphanage called Talitha Kumi. Mm-hmm. So we went and visited, and then these kids. I like kids. I've always liked kids. They're the best. They're awesome. So went to this place, and there's just maybe 13 or 14 boys, 13 or 14 girls in this home. And so we kind of go and visit, and then they find out I played soccer in La Paz and professionally, and it's like, yeah. So I didn't come play. They're dragging me. So I was playing, and I had the best time, with them, just hanging out, playing, practicing my Spanish, and it just had a great day. So anyway, that was kind of when I was just doing one of my little trips.
Yeah. So
when I paid off all my student loans, I kind of looked around and was like, oh, what do I want to do? I was like, I'm going to go back down to Bolivia. So I kind of told my church, I was like, hey, I'm wanting to do a little mission trip down there, and raise a little bit of money, and I'm just going to plan to move down there. And one of my advisors, pastors at church, he's like, well, let's do a 3-month plan, 3 months, then you can kind of really, and that was wise. I'm not just going to like get a one-way ticket or,
Yeah.
But he's like, plan for 3 months, and then, go from there. And it was awesome. So I moved down there, and actually stayed at my buddy Warren's place. I think they were in Canada at the time. But I stayed in, he had a little guest room. And those 3 months were awesome. Just getting up and going to help over at the orphanage however I could. So taking the kids to the park, whatever, hanging out with them, playing. I also did a lot of projects, so I was
Yeah,
doing
that's
repair
what I was
work.
about to
So
say.
like I was doing repair works and teaching the kids that wanted to help, carpentry stuff. Everything was different there. Their wood down there is insanely hard. Like you can't just drive a nail. Everything has got to be pre-drilled, even for a nail.
Even for the wood.
Even for the nail, yeah, it's crazy. But so that was just a different experience altogether too. But I had an awesome experience. I actually met our neighbor Bill and Heidi Janicki. They live up the street. I met them there. They were full-time missionaries. I think they're from Wisconsin and Iowa.
Right.
They went to Iowa State. But met them there, and now coincidentally they live like 3
Up the
blocks
street.
away.
That's wild.
And yeah, she was kind of really helping just manage everything day to day. And, just awesome lady. But yeah, I did that for a few months. And then, I was sending out emails for support. And then my coach at the Southern California Seahorses, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing after that?" And I was like, I don't know.
I don't know, mate.
So he's like, "Hey, can I talk you into coming and doing a PDL season with us? Being like a camp director for the kids." And then I was like, and playing? He's like, yeah, and playing. I was like, yeah.
Okay.
So I was 30-ish, and then
He's back.
Yeah. So then I started training in Bolivia, and I started like, and so I did that for a summer.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. I got to play, and wasn't the full athlete I was, but I was like, I have the experience, and I can play.
Different
And
game now.
It was just fun for me. It wasn't about like, okay, I'm gonna, this is my mission.
Yeah,
now, I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
dominate. I'm just like, no, I'm happy to play.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
happy to play. And then, so at the end, had a great summer, and then at the end of that, a buddy that I played seahorses with back in the day, he was coaching at California Baptist University as the assistant. The head coach over there got a job at, D1 school somewhere up north in California. But so Greg was going to take over, and then he asked me, "Hey, what are you doing after, your PDL season's over?" And I was like, I don't know. And then so he's like, "I got a job for you as the assistant coach." And I was like, okay. Checked it out. Like California Baptist was cool university, like good funding for athletics, good program. So I did that for 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was about at that point when I reached that moment of, okay, do I want to be doing more? Like I loved what I was doing, like mentoring guys, coaching, loved it. But there's so much downtime, like the recruiting, the fall was great, but then the winter, spring, summer, like there's a lot of downtime. And didn't know, and it was also the job security thing. So after 3 years, my buddy got let go.
Okay.
I applied, didn't get the job. So then I was kind of out, and just I was still in California living by that time, and started doing my thing, just carpentry. Ended up finding a job with a custom home builder out there. Really enjoyed it, but it was at that point I was like, yeah, I want to do a little bit more. So that's when I really started looking into. It was military, it was DEA, and then ultimately it was law enforcement.
Yeah.
So I initially started in the process with the military because I was getting older. So by then I was 34, and the cap for Army is 35. So I had put in paperwork. I wanted to be a Ranger, and then I was just waiting on my background check. And by then, again, I had traveled a lot overseas and been to Bolivia many times, lived down in Bolivia. I just imagine my background check took a long time, and they just dragged their feet and then didn't get done. They're like, yeah, you're too old. So and then the exact same thing happened with the DEA. I got in the process. I went through all of the different first interview, lie detector, polygraph, second interview, and passed all the tests. And then I was just waiting for over 2 years.
Wow.
For the background. And then same thing, I turned 38 because 37 was their cutoff. And then they're like, yeah, sorry, you're too old. I was like, okay.
Cheers, guys.
So it's funny. I listened to your last podcast. So the only military that I could have still joined was Air Force. So I think 39 is their age cap. So I was like, oh man, I want to be a pararescue man. And again, by that time, like that training is nuts, as you've heard.
Like detailed.
Yeah, I listened to that. That's nuts, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I was 38. It would have been. I don't know. But I started the process, and I was like, but then I also, my agent that I worked through at the DEA, he was like, yeah, sorry about all that. Honestly, PD is a good route to go. They have flexibility and jobs, overtime.
Yeah.
You can.
PD's police department?
Yeah, police department, yeah.
Okay.
There's groups, there's SWAT teams, there's narcotics, there's detectives, there's, K9, there's options.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I put into a couple places. I also put into the Air Force. But yeah, ultimately chose Des Moines. I actually got on with a couple of PDs that were going to hire me. One was out in California.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Des Moines ended up being the right fit. I liked Iowa. I liked being back by my family. It was a big enough department that had, specialty teams, detectives, narcotics, SWAT teams and things. So yeah, I decided to stay there and not do the Air Force route, which I think was probably the right choice, because then even after that, like after I was done with that, then I'd still have to find something else.
Yeah.
So I was ready to start. But yeah, it was late by the time I actually found the place where I am now.
Yeah. And how old were you when you got to the police department?
Yeah, so it was 2020. So it was right when stuff was hitting the fan.
Yeah.
So it was 6 years ago. Great
38?
job. Yep, 38.
38.
Yep, 38. I think I turned 39 in the academy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again had a great experience at the academy, because again it was a lot like I was used to, like mentoring younger people, because I was one of the oldest guys there. But I could still I was still fitish, I was fit
very
for my
fit.
age. Yeah,
You're very fit for my age.
But yeah, compared to these guys, and it was an awesome class. Class, a lot of quality people, men and women. But it was so fun. I loved it, and found purpose in that. Like, okay, just bonding with these people, preparing with these people for a very serious job where God knows what each one of us was going to have to encounter.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was fulfilling. Making those relationships and then preparing for a job that had purpose. And again, all this time I was single. So like,
I was going to ask you that
throughout majority of my life, and I would have girlfriends here or there, but it was never a long relationship. It was never like, okay, yeah, this is it. This is so that made obviously these choices easier to be able to bounce,
because you were just going.
Yep, because I didn't have family, and that also was a reason when I was 33 and I started to feel like, okay, I want more, because I didn't have that family. I think all my life I pictured myself as a family guy.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I think from the beginning, I was like, that's what I want. Like and I imagined myself, married with kids, probably in my 20s.
Right.
Yeah, I did, and that just didn't happen. And that's one of those things you can't force.
Yeah.
Because if you do, you're in trouble. So yeah, like that made that easier. But that was a big reason why, like, I picked a job like this, So now, being married with kids, love my job, but I don't know that I would have needed it had I been married with kids before. I may have been more content with, a project management, construction business,
because you would have had the family anchor and the fulfillment from that.
That would have been my fulfillment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just kind of like, this is kind of what, looking back, because I know being single, that was a big part for me, because I was like, I'd sit at home, I was alone, and I was like, man, I could be doing more. Like, I could be helping, serving, like I could be doing more. So I know that was a part of my decision to get involved with, like, this type of work.
Law enforcement. Yeah.
Whereas it might not have been, had I found, that the wife and kids before, earlier.
Because then your more would have been taken up with taking care of them.
Yeah. That being said, I love the job, and, it's finding a balance, which, and joining the police department so late in life. Like I've matured a lot. You know, I realized like that's not my identity. That's not like who I am. It's a job. You know, if I don't like it, I quit. You know, it's a job. So I have that mentality. Whereas, you know,
I think your life's shown you that though, by the amount you've moved around by just saying yes. Have you read the book The Surrender Experiment? It's interesting. He's trying to be just a yogi in his own little building that he builds in the woods, and he ends up becoming like this mega code writing guy for medical billing and something like that. It's a multi-million-dollar thing. But he just said like he's realised I've got to stop fighting it and just surrender to what says yes. Your life sounds like that, mate. And what are you doing next? Yeah, I'll do that. What are you doing next? Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Following what's fun. With that, mate, obviously you're a new dad, or a new first-time dad, because you got two little sprouts in, and now you've just had Isabella Frankie, 5 weeks old. Were you, to that point, like you said, you're there sitting on your own, you always imagine yourself married with kids, was there a time where you were like, oh, I'm worried it's not going to happen for me?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And how were you feeling in those moments? Because I guess yours, when I look back at your life and the story that you've told here, it's like service. It's not, I need to, be the best seller in the office to then get the cards and then get the house, which I think a lot of people are caught up in, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas you followed your heart and served other people, but it's still that element of like, oh God, when's that gonna come from me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how were you feeling in those moments? And
I think I definitely was prepared for it. It's like, okay, it might not happen.
Yeah.
Because again, the track record at that time, I'd lived a lot of life and I hadn't found that. I hadn't even been close to finding it. So I had crossed that bridge in my mind. I was like, yeah, that might not happen. And I think it was easier for me to kind of like come to terms with that and be like, that's okay. I think the first time I had to deal with that type of surrender, like to my life, what was happening or what may or may not happen that's out of my control, was in college. When I was at Biola, like I always wanted to play Division I soccer. And my sophomore year, we were horrible. Like I got injured. I ruptured some ligaments in my ankle and I couldn't play. And then we had the worst record in like school history. We were like 2-11 or something. It was awful. And I was sitting watching it. The team was turning on each other. There was an interim coach as well. The head coach that was there for years and years and years that recruited me, retired after my freshman year. I mean, it was the worst season ever.
Yeah. And
I was miserable. That's where I wrestled with my identity, because I was like, if I'm not, this, what am I doing here? Who am I? Like, why would people want to be friends or respect me? Like, if I'm just, some guy.
I'm just Dylan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wrestled with my identity then, and I did everything I could to transfer again on my own. So I would email, these coaches, and, crickets, right? Like, I wanted to go to these D1 schools. But I had a realization, that year, like, so Biola is a Christian school, and so I was on my pursuit of truth and God as well. And I was in a chapel, and this is after many months of trying and crickets, where I felt, God saying like, that's not my plan for you.
Yeah.
You don't need that. Because that was always a thing that I wanted to prove to myself. I can play D1, and you think back, and a lot of people have that, that feeling. But God was like, you don't need that. That's not my plan for you.
Yeah.
I have you here. I want you here. And it was so funny, man. Like I was in the chapel and I felt that, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
done. And so I loved my time. Like then all of a sudden I was happy. Like I was back to training, and then got healthy. My ankle got healthy. Started training with my buddies and like got excited about it. Ended up getting a new coach. So my third year was my redshirt sophomore year. And we broke the record for wins in a season, and we won the conference championship.
Yeah.
That next year. So the worst year ever in 2001, and then 2002. We broke the record for wins, won the first conference championship in school history. And like that validation was like,
wow,
awesome for me. awesome. And then getting the chance to play alongside of UCLA guys. And we even, the Seahorses played against UCLA when I was there. And we tied them. I hit the post. So I got some little validations, you know. And the coach even, you know, after shaking my hands, he's like, "You're a great player." So little stuff like that, and I'm like, cool. You know, just little validations that I got along the way. So.
But you're in the right spot.
Yeah. Sorry to answer the question. Like, I think I had surrendered that to God. Like, I was like, okay, like I'm at peace with that. I don't need to have that. And I think it was the same thing when I was like cross that bridge. Like, okay, I might not get the family and kids thing. And I was like, okay, if that's the way it is, like I can be at peace with that. That does allow me to do other things that, you know, are in store, or that I can do in my pursuit of continuing to, you know, improve and, you know, go on that journey. I don't know, who knows what would have happened, what could happen. So I was open. Yeah.
How is it now that you are a dad, mate? 5 weeks into the job. I know you've been a dad though to the other two anyway, Jaden and the little one anyway. Yeah. So, but now it's the little one from the seedling.
Yeah.
How's it been, man?
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I've always kept that, you know, that hope, you know, in my heart and desire, and it's awesome. You know, God is good. You know, I feel like, again, if you keep your track with what you want and stay ready for it and keep looking for it, you know, without like being desperate to where I need this, but truly like trying, I still want that, you know. Yeah, it can happen, you know. It happens, you know. Maybe not in your own timeline, but if you stay true to like what you believe and hope, want, and stay ready, it can happen. So like, I'm just beyond happy and blessed and lucky, and it's awesome, especially having crossed that bridge and then being like, oh, nice,
did it come back around.
And so fortunate too. So my wife had 2 kids, so I'm a little older and just had my first, but you know, I also have now a 9 and 7-year-old, Jaden Hadley. It's awesome. Like, so I got the whole package, and happened pretty quick. It's pretty great.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing is being like unattached to it. Like, I do still want this, and I'm gonna make sure I'm in great position emotionally, mentally, physically for when the opportunity comes. But I don't need that. I'm trying not to need that, right? I think that happens to us all the time, where we're needing something, and the more desperate you get, the further away it gets, and maybe there's some bad decisions and some bad people that comes in there, even if it's business or relationships. So trying to trust in the greater plan for you, and 2, just do the work that's in front of me, make sure that I am being the best man I can. So then, you know, it's like, how do you catch a butterfly? You make sure that your garden's good and they come to you, you know. So it's easy to say, it's hard to do in that moment when you really want it, right? Isabella Frankie. Your daughter's middle name is Frankie. Your dad's name is Frank.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they just missed paths. They just crossed over.
Yeah.
What was the time difference between losing your dad and then Isabella coming?
Yeah. The way I look at it is they just crossed paths barely instead of just missed. So he met her when she was in here, in my wife's belly. So he passed in March, and then she was born in June. So that was tough, the way that had to happen. So I'm so blessed and lucky to have had him for as long as I did. My son and daughter, Jaden Hadley, got to meet and know my dad really well. Yeah. And it doesn't take long, you know, to really feel, you know, accepted and seen and loved and valued from him. I mean, most people feel it like right from his first hug, you know, he was a hugger. But just awesome, man. So they'll be able to tell Izzy, you know, about her grandpa.
That stays.
Yeah.
That feeling stays.
Yeah.
The words are forgotten and all that stuff, but that feeling stays forever. What was, if you had to pick one of the many lessons and pieces that he taught you that you carry most closest to your heart or had the biggest influence on you? Which one would you pick? I'm sure there's a million different things, mate, but
yeah, there are. I would say it's what the kindness and judgment free just way he dealt with everybody. Yeah, I mean, and he had to deal with some hard stuff as a counselor and saw some, all of that, but it was not, his job to judge or be cruel or be, but you can be, kind and direct in a loving way, and he just accepting of everybody, in any state or place. I feel like that's probably what I remember most or benefit most, or like was the strongest piece that I saw from him. Yeah, I think even it's Wooden said, there's never a reason to be unkind to somebody. There's never a reason. Like, you can be as direct and hard as you need to be with somebody, but you don't have to be nasty. You don't have to like get cruel. You don't have to. You just don't ever have to. And I've seen that, especially in my work. Dealing overnight patrol. I don't have to be unkind. In the most outrageous type of situation with the most outrageous type of person in that crazy moment, I can still be direct, calm, and do it in a way that's, not unkind, I guess.
Yeah.
But that part I learned from him.
You have lived a unique life, mate. Right, very unique, and it's interesting. I never really fell back on that because you can't have it all at the same time, right? I think people now, like, especially with social media, they see people that have everything all at the same time. Like, oh yeah, we're traveling in Bali with our 2 kids, and my wife's like, we've got 10k months, and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, that's maybe last month was 10k. Like, I don't know what's going on, But that was interesting to think about. Your freedom and your ability to say yes was based on, a lot of the time, it's just you moving around.
Definitely.
And that's rewarded you with such a rich life on the front end and given you all this experience to then be the man who's fortunate enough to have all this come together.
Yeah.
What do you think 18-year-old Dylan would think if you were to go back and tell him that, hey mate, by the way, here's what's going to happen? And what would you say to him? Like, is there any piece of advice that you'd give him, or like, how would he react?
Yeah, that's a interesting question. Looking back at my life, I'm like, man, I had some awesome moments and things that have been able to happen. But I wonder if I would have told it to him, if he would have been like, that's okay, not bad. You know what I mean? Like, that, again, the ambition in that kid was crazy.
He was just still like football, soccer.
Who knows? Yeah. So he might have been like, that's all right. I don't know. But my advice to him would just be like, just, enjoy your moments, and, don't get down on, things that haven't happened yet or anything like that. Because, again, you keep on your track and you keep moving towards something, good chance you'll get there.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, learn those lessons about that. That is what it is as well. So yeah, I think, at times when I was younger, I could get a little preoccupied with, maybe frustrated with where I was or what I wanted or things like that.
Trying to be further along faster, is that what you mean? Yeah.
Where I would advise, like, don't do that. Just keep working. Stuff can happen like that, because they did.
Yeah.
In life. That's probably what chill out, dude.
Chill out. It's going to work out. Sometimes they say that the lesson that you needed then might be the lesson that you need now. Do you think that's relevant for you now, mate? Chill out, dude, or?
And that's a good question. Maybe a little, yeah. That's fair, because still, and even like, so my wife, is amazing. So I found somebody that I needed, which is why it took so long, that was also open, to life and what life has and adventure. It wasn't like, okay, no, I need this and this and this, and then I'll be good. It's like, now let's live,
Yeah.
And like, okay, and yeah, we have kids, so okay, how does that look?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's very adventurous. She loves, what discussing like what could be.
Mm-hmm.
So we love to do that. Like, okay, what could we do? So yeah, maybe sometimes we do that too much. It's like, all right,
Slow it down.
yeah, let's take it
chill.
easy. But there's a healthy bit to it where, yeah, we're serious and like, yeah, if we needed to, whatever it be, change career, travel, move, do what's best for our family. Yeah, she's just great, in that she's very, very grounded, and she's very, content with where we are, but both of us still have like that. Okay, yeah, what's next? What
Yeah.
could be? So I think we are, yeah, doing okay. Like we're not overly like we're not happy until we get this next place or to like we're enjoying where we're
Now.
at. We're lucky to be where we're at. We found each other. Like we both love that. So we're good, but yeah, we definitely have that.
But
piece
the
that-
surrender
that's
and the
it.
yes is still there.
Yeah.
Which is good that you've met someone that's also
Open to
Yeah.
why not? Let's do it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe we haven't even touched on Refugio. Yeah. Crazy, right? After all that. So during your time in Bolivia, and you've told me this story before, that take me back there to that, because obviously this podcast is Yap's the example. Your fitness is impeccable, always has been, right? And then the business ownership side of it, you were like, yeah, do you know what? I think I can do this on my own now with the carpentry. And then the surrender of the yes. When did Refugio come about? What is it for the people that don't know? Yeah, mate. I love this story. So
yeah, Refugio is a magical place. Like it's just, and it's definitely the part of my life that's like, man, looking back, I'm like, that is so cool. Like, how did I get so lucky? So yeah, it's this eco
just
resort.
quick to throw in there, like, what was because the big thing for me here that I want to know is like the balls that it took to go,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
When things were solid here, but you were like, yeah, no, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Go. Sorry, me.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah.
So that was a time. So it was 2017 when the opportunity came. So I was living in California, and this was actually kind of just after I was starting to shift into a different career after I was coaching at Cal Baptist, and so it was we found this place with Warren on one of our motorcycle adventures throughout Bolivia. We were doing some switchbacking up a mountain, get up to the top of this beautiful mountain, and then we look down and we see this valley in the middle of canyon, beautiful mountains and trees.
Yeah.
We see this little valley and this cabin, and we're like, what is that? Like, that guy has it figured out. Like, so we didn't even go down at the time, like, because we were on our trip, so we ended up just kind of driving by it, because it's a long drive down to get down there.
Yeah.
So we didn't go down there, but it's a magical place. We didn't even know much about what it was. So it's an eco resort, so it's cabins, trails, waterfalls, a coffee farm that these locals had built. So it was actually a German ranger who worked for Amboro National Park down there. Amboro National Park is this huge, beautiful park in Bolivia, massive, just gorgeous. And it's just this little piece of 900 plus acres just tucked in around this national park that he ended up parceling out, buying, and built these cabins and trails with some locals. And breathtaking place, and then planted a coffee farm. So the opportunity came when my buddy Warren did go down there to visit, and he was involved with a lot down there. His family was down there, and just got to know Albert, and he was kind of an older man at that point and didn't really have a plan for it, after You know, he
Albert's the German guy that owned it at the time and started it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was getting older, and you know, so he was, just kind of doing his thing and grinding, doing his best. You know, it wasn't online. It was very word of mouth, and it was a big birder destination. They have just a tremendous birding community down there, and I think there's more birds in that national forest than there are in North America. So it's beautiful. I'm not a big bird guy, but that's kind of what it was, word of mouth. So when he started talking about, you know, buying it, you know, and he threw a number at me, I was like, what, really? I was like, man, we have to do this. So it was two of his other buddies in Bolivia that I had not met yet. But Warren and I were good friends. I trusted his judgment. We were very similar in a lot of ways, and just with how we live, operate, you know, foundation, what we, so I ended up being like, let's talk about it. And then it's like, okay, let's do quarters, you know, can you do it? And I was like, I'll figure it out. It was a pretty serious decision. But I ended up, closing out my 401k, you know, that I had built up to date.
Yeah. And so you took everything out of
everything out of my retirement plan.
Yeah.
And then all the money that I had, and then still needed to get a loan on top of that. But I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was a matter of something that was so cool. And then with people that I really liked.
Yeah.
You know, I met his buddies, and it's still the same guys.
Yeah.
Great guys. You know, we haven't had any issues getting along, working through things, making decisions. And since the business has thrived, we've built, updated all the old cabins, built new cabins, built a beautiful multi-purpose Maloka type deal where, you know, you can have events, you know, yoga, you
meditation.
You can't
can work out on the edge of it.
Yeah, everybody needs to look up Refugio Los Volcanes, because it's an incredible place. And then we planted more coffee. So it was a turnkey business when we bought it, and it has more than probably doubled in occupancy. Probably way more than that. The occupancy level has gone up. It's been consistent. It's all online now. We've got social
media's
banging. Social media's working. So we've done a lot in, you know, 9 years, to where, that now it's just the coolest thing. And so Warren has still been kind of the managing partner. But that's, you know, at the time it was my retirement plan. You know, I have since obviously had other retirement plans, you know, in place and things like that. But it's exciting. It's one of those things that's potential to be another moment in life where it's like, oh, here's another opportunity or offer, or, you know, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Where it's like that can change things. And
how did you know, mate? Because, like, you know, the smart advice is like, keep money in 401k and blah, blah, blah. But you were like, for sure, what went into making the decision for me? Because these things, you can't plan for them.
Yeah.
You can't plan for an opportunity like that, right? Yeah. So it's on your table, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
What was the positives? Were there any negatives that you were thinking about?
It was a combination of, okay, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Never going to get this chance again. And then the other side was, okay, if it doesn't work, okay, I had, you know, nothing major in my retirement. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, miss out on, you know, too much if I lost that. So my retirement wasn't huge. It was enough, and then I had some money, and then I needed a loan. And I thought to myself, it's like, okay, regardless of if this works out, let's say, you know, worst case scenario, he gets overtaken by Bolivian locals and they just, you know, destroy it and whatever. We lose everything.
And it goes to zero.
Yeah, it goes to zero. Okay, I pay off my debt, you know, and I lost that 401k. I'm still fine.
So what?
I'm still going to work. You know, like, my mindset has always been like, I'm always going to keep doing something, keep moving forward. Like, retirement is just, you know, going to the next job, you know, after that. So I think I felt okay, like with my ability to be okay. Like if worst case scenario happened, all right, that was a loss. That happened. I tried. It was cool. So I think that mindset, gave me a little bit of peace. Like, okay, it's not asking too much. It's just another payment on this loan.
Right.
That. So yeah, and it didn't take me long too at the time. So I kind of considered those two things, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So the regret would have been way heavier than the
Yes.
like, what if I never went for that?
Then the ramifications of the alternative. Yeah.
I mean, I've been down there. Obviously, I was fortunate enough to. You took us down there for your honeymoon. So thanks very much.
Yeah.
I'm the first face you want to see on there.
Sorry, babe.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's insane. Obviously, I came with Ro, my partner, and it was like it's an experience that you can't explain.
Yeah.
You have to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that, and you'd expressed that to me before, and then when we got there, like. Rose been to Cancun once in a little resort, and it was just like this blew the whole wheels off of her. What is
the view from down there, the trip down, like it's like driving into Jurassic Park. It's just you can't even. And our social media is great. You just it's still like no, you just gotta go experience it. But I'm so lucky and blessed to have that, and that's like the craziest part. Looking back at my life, I'm like, man, the fact that all came to fruition, that's just wild.
Yeah, but if you don't leave yourself open without wanting anything, like you went to Bolivia without wanting anything from Bolivia, so it's like you're giving, there's energy going out, and like when's it going to come back? You don't know. You never know, right? But being open to it, I think a lot of people are stuck on like, what can I do right now to get something back? Like, what can I do right now to get something back? It's like, just give, let it go, give it, and then it comes back from somewhere. Maybe I'm helping George over here, and then Mary comes to help me when I need it. But just know that it's gone out. Yeah.
And I feel like surrender is, again, that word comes back like, people that are white knuckle in life. Like, okay, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly how to get it. It's like, okay, then that's your limit, Whereas like, okay, but if you're like this, okay, I'm going to do as hard as I can and enjoy life and be present and all that stuff, like, and work really hard, your limit, you don't have one, like you can, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't even realize that this was there and I could, choose something like this. I didn't realize that, because if you're so laser focused on exactly what you think you want
and exactly where you think you're going to get,
that's your limit.
Then that's your limit. That's amazing. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
What would your advice to be to someone that, like, how, obviously, for me, I think you cultivate that mindset through experience. So once it happens once and you're open to it, then you're like, not even on the lookout, but you've done it before. So you know that you don't have a plan. Like my plan when I came to America, I was like, 4 years time, I'm going to be stronger, faster, better. I'm going to go back to England. I'm going to give this football thing one more try. Yeah. And then I tore my ACL in January. And then I done it again. And I was like, bloody hell, I don't know if I'm going to finish school here. Yeah. So I was like, okay, now I have to let go. And I think I've spoken before about like same thing where I had to have those near pressures to recognize I'm more than my football ability, because that's how I got love, how I got friends when I was younger. But like, what would you advise someone to who's like, oh God, I'm really worried about this and that? How can they ease off a little bit?
That's tough, because everybody's coming from a different place, and I think it's healthy to dream. So like, rather than like easing off of like what you're doing, like okay, it's healthy to dream, like to like, okay, what could be, what could I see myself doing, and also just be very active with getting involved with what you can get involved with, whether it's a road trip or a trip overseas or a new club or things like that. Like I think it's super healthy at whatever age you are to continually at night or in the morning, whenever you like to do your dreaming, like just consider like, oh, wouldn't this be cool, or wouldn't this be fun, and just have that there all the time. So I think that, amongst, again, and along with that is always, never feel defeated, never feel like just too discouraged, just keep working hard,
Yeah.
whatever you're doing. I'm not sure, forget exactly what the question was, but yeah.
No, it's like you said about the people that are white knuckling it, and like I'm waking up I'm so focused on this goal. How can I release and be a little bit more open? I think you said it really well there. It's like put your North Star out there, and then don't be so worried about step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just keep working.
Yeah.
And then you end up with that star over there that was even better than that one, and you had no idea it was coming for you.
And then also like being aware, like why do you want that so bad? Like why are you white knuckling that so bad?
Mm-hmm.
What is it about that? That probably also is healthy. Like, okay, if you're really white knuckling something to where, a lot's going by the wayside, what is it, about that you think will complete you or
mm-hmm.
So that's healthy too. And it could be a very healthy, thing that they're after. But then it's just a matter of, not missing things along the way.
Because I'm so focused here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one of the books also that I really loved. You ever read The Alchemist?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paulo Coelho.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, awesome book for a lot of reasons, but kind of one of the main theses, the points that I really liked from the book was, I think it's something like at some point, or the biggest lie the world ever told you is that at some point, you become unable to control your life and it succumbs to fate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest lie, that at some point you don't have power over your life anymore,
mm-hmm.
but it's fate is taking over. So it's just kind of talking about man's ability to achieve his own personal legend,
mm-hmm.
From the book. So I think, and that book is just, he didn't know what he was getting into. He just made one decision after the next, and then, the journey begins. But yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's fighting that, not being so critical on, I have no control. This
mm-hmm.
life has done this to me. I can't achieve this. This is my fate. This is my fate. And I think that's true. I think that's a lie. Like that's not, we don't get, in this machine where we have no control. We can always choose something. We can always make our decisions in a way to where we're in control of our
mm-hmm.
live feelings, emotions, choices, future, in a bigger, small way.
Mm-hmm. When I think about that, then, as far as in control, when it comes back to the surrender and the timing, I like the word influence. Like I can influence, right? I've been a couple of times. It's come up for me recently. It's like like God or whatever higher power, like He's got the river going and I'm in the boat. But like, dude, you have to paddle.
Yeah.
Right. You're not just gonna. He's not just gonna take you where you need to go. You don't crash into the side of the bank just because. Like you have to still be there with the oar. And sometimes you're absolutely trying to not crash, right? And other times you're like, "Whoa, this is easy. This is lovely."
Yeah.
But you have to be an active participant in your life.
Yep.
That's been coming up a couple of times for me recently.
So there's a passage in it. So Ecclesiastes is in the Old Testament. So it's like the book of wisdom,
mm-hmm.
or it's King Solomon wrote it. David's son. He was a wise king,
mm-hmm.
And he was on the pursuit of like, what's the meaning of life? What's the point of everything? So he goes on this journey, trying everything he can to find satisfaction. Really interesting book. But I think Ecclesiastes 10:10, coincidentally for soccer players, Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if he doesn't sharpen his axe, he has to exert more strength. Success and advantage come to, those who sharpen, prepare.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always liked that. There's work to do, and that for me, that's talking about wisdom. We have an oar. Read the current. Read this and that. Read the direction of what you can do, because you can do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But with a sharper axe, the work is easier. You get more done. You
mm-hmm.
can move faster.
And that axe is working on yourself.
Yeah. Yep. Sharpening your skills, your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Staying hopeful, ready, and then just that can look like a lot of things. Just whatever you need to do to keep preparing and learning and improving.
Mm-hmm. Last question, mate. What are your? I know you've got a lot, so you have to pick some of your favourites. What are your like words to live by? Like either a favourite saying that's been useful to you or come true for you, that you think has been a good little measure to live by, or something like that that's helped you out.
Okay, good question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to pick one.
Yeah, I like that. I'm glad no one's asked me. Mate. Yeah, there's so many different things.
I can ask you.
Right? No, not right now. Not right now. Ask me next episode.
Okay. There's a lot. One that I really like. It comes from. I think it came from this book. Chop Wood, Carry Water. Awesome book. Yeah. So in there, I think I highlighted so many things from that book, but it said,
it's an actual book as well. Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't. Yeah. What?
So Phil Jackson, 11 Rings.
Oh.
He's that's why I read that, and he talks about like in Things Gone Well, Chop Wood, Carry Water. He studied even at college. Maybe he studied like native.
You haven't read the book?
I haven't read Chop Wood, Carry Water, so
that's your.
Let's get on there. And crazy enough, mate, when you said that about don't ask me, that would be mine. That would be mine because it's just rung true for my life. Hey, things are going great. Guess what? Go to the gym. Yeah. Do what you need to do.
Carry water.
Things are an absolute nightmare right now. Okay, chop smaller wood, carry less water.
Yeah.
Like you've got to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to read it.
Yeah, I do, mate. That's going down.
It needs to jump the line in whatever book list you have.
Uh-huh.
So there's a saying, quote in there that says, "You can't cheat the grind. It knows how hard you worked, and it's not going to give you anything you don't deserve."
Yeah.
So that's probably one of them that I love that, and that's part of again all the times I was able to say yes in life. It was because I was ready. Like
right.
I was able to. I wouldn't have been asked if I wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that can't cheat the grind. It knows how hard you worked, and it's not going to give you anything you don't deserve. I love that one. And that's a mental thing too. Like that was a big mental piece for me. Like when I was training for soccer, like I would walk into the preseason knowing I've worked harder than you.
Yeah,
I just have. Because I didn't miss a day, and I did extra when I could, and it was a good feeling. So, yeah, I'd say that's a good one. I'm going to put one more.
Yeah, please do. Please
this
do.
one's a Bible verse that I really like, and this is just the comfort for me. But I think it's in Jeremiah 17, maybe 17:11, or it talks about he whose trust is in the Lord, his roots are deep, and they go down by a stream where they don't have to fear when the heat comes, and they won't cease to yield fruit because they have those strong roots. So I think that's something that's just kind of an encouragement for me too, like being very grounded, whatever comes, like I'll be able to endure, and outlast it. With that, then that's that faith part that I have. That's everything, to me. And like, that's what I found. I think everybody has to find that. What is it for you that's bigger than you, and the most important thing, what is it? Why are you here? What are you doing? So I found that. Yeah. In Jesus and God in the Bible, and that's what I hold on to where I have peace. No matter what might happen, because this world, as a student of the world, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy world we live in. You don't know what's going to happen here or there, when or. So yeah.
That's kind of perfect to end on there. The word grounded is sticking out to me, mate, because when I moved back in 2022, which was when we met, I wasn't grounded. Like, everything was up in the air. Divorce was come back, I've moved back. But when I met you at coaching, that was like just a little green light for me in my life that, okay, being around this man, I'm in the right place. And I think getting to know you even more, you make it so easy to be calm around you because you have that groundedness. You know that you're connected to something higher. And that has had an unbelievable impact on me. I mean, we were coaching kids together. You didn't need to be there, you know, and these girls are getting such an amazing experience just because your love for soccer and for them and just for helping. I think watching you, how you go about things was a great example for me. To see someone, I think you do regularly, we spoke about relationships, you give me advice on that, housing. I mean, you've opened up Bolivia for myself and for Ro. Like, you've just been an absolute gift for me, mate. And even when I was doing that 75 hard challenge, a lot of my other friends were like, oh, what are you doing? You know, we're still going out. And you were like, well, this is awesome, dude. Like, keep going. Yeah. And the same thing when I started my business, you were like, yeah, mate, just go for it. Like, the support and love that I felt from you, mate. What I wrote down this morning was like, it feels like a big brother that you never had, you know? Yeah. So I've been so excited to get you on here, mate. This captures so much of your heart, but not enough. As good as it feels to even hug you, mate. So thank you so much. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, no, likewise, man. I'm pumped that we met finally, and yeah, we're in the same part of life to share at the moment, and you know, God knows what will happen next. But it's awesome having you right down the street to give a call to, and yeah, likewise, man.
Love it, mate. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well done, man.
Podcasters.
It's almost awesome, baby.